Can African nations freely choose their allies? While many still seek Western approval, Burkina Faso has defied expectations. Not only did it previously align itself with Russia, but now, despite Western warnings, Burkina Faso is strengthening those ties.
Russian-Burkinabe relations are based solely on the principles of mutual respect and consideration of each other's interest, and in recent years they have acquired positive dynamics. I consider today's meeting to be another step in the development of our friendly relations.
A new plan has come to light, revealing why Burkina Faso seems unfazed by Western cautions. It had a surprise deal in the works, and it looks like the waiting game is over.
Burkina Faso has been battling insurgents linked to Al-Qaeda and Islamic State for years. Militants have seized large areas of land, resulting to the displacement of millions. Many citizens had celebrated the departure of French troops last year, which they said was ineffective in containing the insurgency. Now, there has been mixed reactions to the fresh deployment of Russian troops in the Sahelian nation.
I believe that bringing Russian soldiers to our country could be a positive step towards addressing the insecurity.
So, what are these new plans, and how will the West respond? Let's find out. Imagining an Africa where nations boldly choose their allies, unapologetically steering their destinies without the burden of past colonial ties, sounds like a dream. A continent that rises above outdated influences, establishing partnerships grounded in mutual respect and shared objectives. Recently, Burkina Faso made a decisive move by participating in the Army Forum 2024 in Moscow. This strategic decision, led by Defense Minister Kul, marked a shift from traditional Western alliances to a partnership with Russia. Minister Kul's interview, a Russian state-controlled network, highlighted Burkina Faso's progress in counterinsurgencies and its growing relationship with Russia. This partnership is more than a mere diplomatic alignment. It represents a bold step in Africa's quest for true sovereignty and self-reliance. As we explore Burkina Faso's bold new direction, several questions arise. What motivated this strategic shift? How does it affect Burkina Faso's internal security dynamics and its relationship with the West? And, most importantly, what lessons can other African nations learn from this significant move? Let's start with why Burkina Faso decided to strengthen its ties with Russia instead of maintaining its traditional alliances with Western powers like France. The motivation behind Burkina Faso's decision to align more closely with Russia lies in a desire for partnerships that are based on mutual respect and serve its national interests. For decades, Burkina Faso and many other African nations have found themselves entangled in partnerships with Western powers, particularly France, that have been more beneficial to the latter than to the former. The so-called partnerships often came with strings attached, economic policies that didn't align with local needs, military assistance that was more symbolic than substantive, and a patronizing attitude that undermined local autonomy. In contrast, Russia has presented itself as a partner who understands and respects Burkina Faso's sovereignty. At the Army Forum 2024, Burkina Faso had the opportunity to witness firsthand Russia's advancements in military technology and tactics. Minister Kul emphasized the importance of learning from Russia's experiences, particularly in areas where Western support had previously fallen short. This includes hands-on training, access to modern military equipment, and a shared commitment to addressing the unique challenges Burkina Faso faces in its fight against insurgencies. Moreover, Burkina Faso's pivot to Russia is also about rejecting a one-size-fits-all approach to international relations. The West has often dictated terms to African nations under the guise of aid and partnership, but Burkina Faso is choosing a different path, one where it controls its narrative and makes decisions based on its interests, not the interests of foreign powers. The decision to engage more deeply with Russia is not just a rejection of Western influence, but a strategic move towards establishing a diversified network of alliances that better align with the nation's goals and aspirations. Another key factor motivating this shift is the growing frustration with the West's inconsistent policies and the lack of tangible results. Burkina Faso has long been on the front lines of the fight against insurgencies in the Sahel region, yet it has often found itself with inadequate support from its Western allies. The West's focus has frequently been more on maintaining a presence rather than providing substantive aid or equipment. The partnership with Russia offers a different approach, one focused on practical support, training, and shared strategic interests. Furthermore, Burkina Faso's government recognizes the importance of diversification in its foreign policy strategy. Relying on a single ally or bloc of allies is a risky approach in a world where geopolitical dynamics are constantly changing. By building a relationship with Russia, Burkina Faso is ensuring it has multiple avenues of support and can better navigate international politics. This diversification strategy is not just about enhancing security, it's also about gaining economic and technological advantages that can propel the country forward. With this new partnership in place, a critical question emerges. What advantages does Russia bring to the table that Western allies have not? Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. Burkina Faso's struggle against insurgencies has been ongoing, with extremist groups posing a persistent threat to national security. For years, Burkina Faso relied on Western allies, particularly France, for support. However, the results were far from satisfactory. Despite the presence of French troops and military aid, extremist attacks continued unabated, leading to widespread frustration among the Burkina Faso population and a sense of betrayal by their so-called allies. In contrast, Russia offers a more pragmatic approach. By engaging with Russia, Burkina Faso is gaining access to advanced military technology and training that is tailored to their specific needs. The Army Forum 2024 provided an opportunity for direct engagement with Russian military experts, where practical hands-on training and demonstrations of new counterinsurgency techniques were shared. This kind of support goes beyond mere words. It's about equipping Burkina Faso's forces with the tools and knowledge they need to combat insurgencies on the ground effectively. Additionally, Russia's approach emphasizes respect for Burkina Faso's autonomy in handling its security affairs. Unlike Western partnerships, which often come with a paternalistic attitude, Russia views Burkina Faso as an equal partner. This alignment of interests and mutual respect creates a more effective framework for cooperation in counterinsurgency efforts. Burkina Faso is not just a recipient of aid, but an active participant in shaping its security strategies. Moreover, the Russian military doctrine, which emphasizes adaptability and resilience, aligns well with Burkina Faso's current security needs. Extremist groups in the Sahel are highly mobile, using guerrilla tactics that are difficult to counter with conventional military strategies. The Russian approach, which has been honed in various conflict zones, offers a fresh perspective and new tactics that are better suited to this kind of asymmetric warfare. The focus is on empowering local forces to take the lead, using a combination of high-tech solutions and localized knowledge to end extremist groups. The Russian partnership also allows Burkina Faso to develop its military-industrial capabilities. By fostering a relationship with Russia, Burkina Faso has the potential to not only import advanced weaponry, but also develop its defense technologies. This shift from dependency to self-reliance is crucial in a region where security threats are evolving rapidly. It's not just about fighting today's battles. It's about building the capacity to respond to future threats independently. As Burkina Faso bolsters its military capabilities with Russian support, the impact on its relationship with its former colonial ruler, France, cannot be ignored. This leads to the next question. How does this realignment affect Burkina Faso's diplomatic ties with France and other Western nations? Burkina Faso's pivot towards Russia represents a significant departure from its historical relationship with France, a former colonial ruler and long-standing ally. For decades, France has maintained a strong presence in West Africa, often acting as a security guarantor for its former colonies. However, this relationship has increasingly been viewed as a relic of a bygone era, one that many African nations, including Burkina Faso, are eager to move beyond. Minister Koul's statements make it clear that Burkina Faso is re-evaluating its foreign policy priorities. The dissatisfaction with France is not merely political, but deeply rooted in the experiences of the Burkina Faso people, who have seen little benefit from French military presence and support. The rhetoric of partnership and support often did not translate into meaningful action on the ground. French troops were seen more as protectors of French interests rather than Burkina Faso's sovereignty and security. By turning to Russia, Burkina Faso is sending a clear message. It is no longer willing to play a subordinate role in a partnership that does not prioritize its interests. This move can be seen as part of a broader trend across Africa, where countries are reassessing their alliances and seeking new partners who are willing to engage on equal terms. It's about finding partnerships that respect their sovereignty and support their development goals without strings attached. This realignment is not just a snub to France, but also a strategic recalibration of Burkina Faso's foreign policy. It demonstrates a desire to diversify its alliances and reduce dependency on any single power. This shift could encourage other African nations to explore similar alternatives, potentially leading to a more balanced and multipolar global landscape. Furthermore, Burkina Faso's pivot away from France highlights a broader dissatisfaction with Western policies in Africa. Many African nations have grown weary of being treated as junior partners in global affairs, and there is a growing demand for relationships that are based on mutual respect and shared interests. By aligning more closely with Russia, Burkina Faso is positioning itself as a leader in this new movement toward African self-determination and independence. The implications for France and other Western nations are significant. As more African countries seek to diversify their alliances, the influence of traditional Western powers in Africa could diminish. This would require a rethinking of Western policies towards Africa, potentially leading to more equitable and mutually beneficial relationships. However, it also poses a challenge. Can the West adapt to this new reality, or will it continue to cling to outdated models of engagement that no longer serve African interests? The West might not adapt, so leaving it would be a great choice. With Burkina Faso leading the way in redefining its international alliances, what does this mean for Africa's future on the global stage, particularly in terms of new geopolitical alliances and the continent's strategic positioning? Burkina Faso's pivot towards Russia is more than a bilateral move. It represents a potential shift in Africa's geopolitical strategy. The decision to move away from traditional Western alliances towards more diversified international partnerships could have far-reaching implications for the continent. This is particularly relevant as African nations increasingly seek to assert their independence on the global stage and build partnerships that reflect their values and priorities. Africa is at a crossroads. With its abundant resources and youthful population, it holds significant potential for growth and development. Yet, for too long, it has been seen merely as a playground for global powers. Burkina Faso's decision to partner with Russia could inspire other African nations to reconsider their international relationships. It's about looking beyond the traditional Western sphere and exploring partnerships that offer more than just economic aid, but also respect and mutual benefit. Furthermore, this move could lead to a more diversified set of alliances across the continent. By embracing partners like Russia, who are willing to engage in equitable and mutually beneficial relationships, Africa can reduce its reliance on any single power bloc. This diversification would increase Africa's leverage in international negotiations and foster a more balanced approach to global diplomacy. Burkina Faso's strategic shift also aligns with the African Union's goals of promoting peace, security, and stability on the continent. A more unified approach to international relations, where African countries collaborate and support each other in forging new alliances, could enhance the continent's collective bargaining power and ensure that African interests are better represented on the global stage. Additionally, this shift could lead to greater cooperation among African nations in other areas, such as economic development, technology transfer, and cultural exchange. By building a network of diverse partnerships, African countries can create a more resilient and interconnected continent that is better able to withstand external pressures and challenges. Moreover, the potential for a broader geopolitical realignment also presents an opportunity for Africa to redefine its role in the world. Rather than being seen as a region in need of aid and intervention, Africa can position itself as a strategic partner in global affairs. This would require a shift in mindset, both within Africa and among its global partners, towards recognizing the continent's agency and potential as a leader in international relations. Now the question is, will Burkina Faso's pivot to Russia encourage a wave of new alliances across Africa? Burkina Faso's decision to align with Russia could indeed catalyze greater African unity and collective security. By choosing to engage with a non-traditional partner, Burkina Faso is not only redefining its security strategy, but also setting a precedent for the continent. This move encourages a more independent and assertive stance in global affairs, one that could lead to stronger collaboration among African nations. If more countries follow Burkina Faso's lead, this could significantly enhance collective security efforts across the continent. African nations have long recognized the importance of working together to address shared challenges, from insurgencies and conflict to economic development and climate change. A more diversified approach to international relations could strengthen these efforts, providing new opportunities for collaboration and knowledge sharing. Moreover, Burkina Faso's strategic shift could inspire a renewed push towards African unity. By engaging in partnerships that respect sovereignty and prioritize mutual benefit, African nations can build stronger, more resilient alliances. This unity is essential in a world where global power dynamics are constantly shifting, and Africa must be prepared to navigate these changes with confidence and clarity. Additionally, this realignment aligns with the Pan-African ideals of solidarity and self-determination. It reinforces the message that Africa is ready to stand together, forge its path, and build partnerships that truly benefit its people. This could lead to a more cohesive and strategic approach to international relations, where African countries support each other in pursuing their collective interests. However, achieving this vision of unity and collective security will require more than just new alliances. It will require a commitment to addressing internal divisions and building trust among African nations. Historical rivalries and conflicts have often undermined efforts at unity, but Burkina Faso's example shows that it is possible to prioritize common goals over individual interests. By focusing on shared challenges and opportunities, African nations can forge a stronger, more unified front on the global stage. Furthermore, this shift towards collective security could also enhance Africa's ability to address other critical issues, such as economic development, infrastructure investment, and technological innovation. By working together and leveraging their collective resources and expertise, African nations can create a more prosperous and self-sufficient continent that is better equipped to meet the needs of its people. So, Burkina Faso's decision to pivot towards Russia is more than just a change in diplomatic relations. It represents a profound shift in the continent's approach to international relations. By moving away from traditional Western alliances and embracing a partnership with Russia, Burkina Faso is setting a powerful example for the rest of Africa. It's a reminder that African nations have the right to choose their paths, build alliances that respect their sovereignty, and define their future on their terms. Do you think the Burkina Faso approach will save it? Should new allies be valued more than the West? Let us know in the comment section. Will other nations follow Burkina Faso's footsteps? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.